I like my coffee like I like my men, ground up and in the freezer.
Hey, get in here. Dallas is about to start.
Welcome to the Ewing Barbecue, where we have received 1,431 letters demanding that Melanie run for public office. My name is Mary.
I'm Josh, and I think that if we collaborate, Melanie, you give me all the exclusives, and I'll get ratings.
I'm Melanie, and I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I am down for this. Yes.
Sweet.
Public office.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You come on my show
fuck some
and
shit up.
yeah. Oh yeah. Knock that Culver out of office. Whew.
Yeah.
No, we want Culver in office.
Well, mommy.
I'd like to have a quick shout out to our Patreon members: Brendan Phillick, Captain America, Amy Hara, Marie Johnson, Michael Jung, Jason Carter, Jennifer Indelicato, Laura Bernheim, Brad Mulholland, Anita Wren, and Kristen Carlano. As usual, you guys are the super coolest ever.
Are we
So
growing?
it was Massachusetts Amy.
It was. Yep.
Yes. It seems like we're growing.
We are. And just a little message to you guys. If I do not have your address, your snail mail address, please go onto your Patreon account and send me a little message with that so I can send you something super cool. Or if your address has changed since the last time I sent you something. So
we have something super cool coming up already in 2024.
Yeah, we do.
Week. The Hollywood show in Burbank, March 1st. They've announced about 53 to 58 guests. 14 of them appeared on Dallas.
So cool.
So far. Charlene Tilton will be there. Christopher Atkins. Jack Scalia, who played Nick Pierce. That's a rare appearance. Linda Gray. Patrick Duffy. Kathy Podwell. Cherie Wilson. Jenna Lee Harrison. First time ever for Omri Katz and Josh Henderson being in the same place at the same time.
Wow.
Lee Taylor Young, who played Kimberly Kreider, is going to be there. Rosalind Allen, who appeared in Conundrum as Bobby's wife Anne, which is kind of funny because Brenda Strong played Anne in the new series. She also appeared as Julia Cunningham in J.R. Returns, is going to be there.
Oh, wow.
Kim Johnston Ulrich, who played Bootsy Ewing in the Conundrum episode, is going to be there. I'm really digging here and getting into the minor parts. And Chris Pine's father, Robert Pine, who was on Chips, played Jenna's psychiatrist in the Dream season. Jenna Lee Harrison will be there, too. Jamie Ewing.
Nice.
So that is the list so far. And I'm sure if Patrick Duffy's going to be there, Linda Pearl might be coming along.
That'd be cool.
And speaking of Linda Pearl and Patrick Duffy, Saturday the 16th at 3 p.m. at Sparrowhawk Cookware in Colorado Springs.
Duffy's Dough?
Duffy's Dough. Patrick and Linda will be appearing at 3 p.m. And on the 19th at Evan Guy, also in Colorado Springs. You can look that up. And Priscilla Presley has a meet and greet on the 16th at Teddy Kossoff Salon and Spa in Northfield, Illinois. She's probably out on the road for her one-woman show.
Yeah, she has several dates coming up. We have all those appearances on our website, ewingbbq.com, so you can go check it out. And if any of those are near you, go check them.
And that Hollywood show, I already know Cattleman's Club is going to be there.
We should try to go. Yeah. We could have a little Dallas party. 14
Dallas cast members that are going to be there. As of now, there could be more announced. If you're out in the area or if you can get out there, it'll be at the Marriott in Burbank, which is right next to the airport. So,
yeah, we'll let you know, because if I can get out there, we could maybe have a little podcast get together or something, like a meetup with people in the LA area. That'd be super fun.
And we can try to get, going to work on the cast and try to get some stuff from them. And quick birthdays. John Zaremba, who played Dr. Danvers, died December 15th, 1986. It's also the anniversary of Walt Disney's death, by the way. And we just had Cherie Wilson celebrated 65 years old on the 12th. Amy Stock, who played Lisa Alden, 65 on the 13th. Jared Martin would celebrate his 82nd birthday on the 21st, but he has unfortunately passed. And jumping ahead, Barbara Carrera, born 1945, December 31st. Angelica Nero. That's it for now.
That's it.
That's all
Awesome.
we got.
Cool. Well, tonight we are talking about Season 6, Episode 20, Episode 123 of the series, Brothers and Sisters.
But if you increase your shipment, his payoff gets increased for the risk he's taking.
What risk? I could go to jail for sending oil to Cuba.
The last thing I need in my life right now is to be involved with another man.
You're already a single lady. You just haven't made it legal yet.
That's a lot of money, JR.
He's got me over a barrel. I have to make this deal no matter what.
JR is pleased about the problems you and Pam are having.
If the fight for the company is going to cost me my wife and child, then I don't have anything left but winning you an oil.
It was written by Will Lorin, directed by Larry Hagman, and aired February 25th, 1983. Which on that date, the number one song in the U.S. was Baby Come to Me by Patty Austin with James Ingram. In the UK, it was still Too Shy by Kajagoogoo. The number one film in the U.S. was Tootsie. And died today, Tennessee Williams, American poet, writer, and exceptional playwright.
Really?
And also John Cowell Sr., who was an American publisher, also died at the age of 84. And on Dallas.
And on Dallas, this episode dropped to number 2 from number 1 the week before. Clayton has his last appearance at the Southern Cross until episode 305. John Beck found Victoria Principal fun to work with. She was kind of a joker and a real go-getter. And a casting note, Don Diamond is a TV veteran who played Corporal Reyes on Zorro and Crazy Cat on the sitcom F Troop.
He played the maitre d'.
He played the maitre d', yes.
Oh.
It's interesting how you get these people that appear in other shows and they just do this very tiny role on Dallas, like a maitre d' or something.
Yeah, but he's a small actor in a lot of I mean, it looks like he was a bigger actor when he was younger and then kind of maybe semi-retired and just did like bit parts. Probably just for some extra cash. That makes sense.
So that must have been when Bobby went to the restaurant.
Yeah. Yes.
And he was probably the one at the, yeah.
Yes. With the speaking role.
Right.
Okay, so we open on a overhead shot of the Dallas cityscape.
Stock footage.
And then we cut to a divey bar.
JR looks hella uncomfortable as he's walking in. He's like...
Totally. He's looking at... There's like a John Wayne poster on the wall. And then there's like a cowboy playing a video game, like an arcade video game in the background. And then some random dude playing pool at like 2 p.m. So weird.
It's where you would find Digger Barnes or Dandy Dandridge day drinking.
Yeah. Yes.
He's very much thumbing his nose at them, like, and
he's looking down. Yeah.
It's Walt Driscoll sitting at the table, and he's like, "What's the matter, JR?" Basically, I found an out of the way place. Ain't nobody gonna find you in here. And JR's like, he's kind of like, I deal with some shady people. Yeah, there's a total chance.
He's like, yeah, people meet for all sorts of reasons, in these little places. There's always a chance. So
Slim Shady. It's very Slim Shady.
Yeah, the way Walt Driscoll was
Please
talking
stand up.
This was so weird. He was like, well, the guy wants more money.
Walt has really gone off the deep end here and become a complete bastard. Shady.
He's learning from the master.
I feel like he fell and he's kind of like, well, all I have left is to like swim in the sludge. So I'm going to swim.
Like, I sold my soul, so now I'm going to reap the benefits.
Exactly.
And he's about to find out. Shit's about to not be good.
Yeah.
And in case we didn't mention, for our listeners, Sarah is actually in Puerto Rico trying to get together a tanker for the oil shipment. So she is.
She's talking to the quote unquote contact.
Yes.
She's trying to get him to come down from $100,000.
She's greasing the wheels, so to speak, or
Yeah. But JR doesn't want to dilly-dally or get a drink or anything. He just wants to get down to biznatch, and he wants to double his last shipment.
Right. 100,000 barrels out the door to Cuba. But the cost is going up, obviously.
Yeah, he said the price has gone up because it was 25,000.
So now it's 50,000 for.
Well, did he actually say an actual amount? He just said the price went up, and then JR was just kind of like,
Yeah, it was 25,000, so it would probably be 50,000 since it's 50,000.
Probably, but they didn't mention an actual price. He's just like the price has gone up, and then JR just agrees, kind of. What I thought was weird because they didn't actually talk numbers.
Right.
I just whatever, fine.
I just surmised that it was 50,000 because the previous was 25,000.
Right.
Since they doubled it, the amount of oil, then it's double the. And of course, Walt's going to always want his cut right up.
Oh yeah, up front as well. And JR's like, yeah, whatever, I know. And then he just like jets out of there as soon as he can. Like he thinks he's going to catch the Black Plague or something.
He needs to go wash.
Yeah. He'd be, if it was today, he'd be putting like the hand sanitizer on as he was walking out.
Right. Putting on these like gloves and wearing a mask if he goes in there. And he should have worn a mask. Yeah. Dr. Ewing, paging Dr. Ewing.
Ellie and Clayton are walking around Southern Cross and they're waiting for the closing because he's selling it, which is happening in 2 hours.
It's closing time.
But can we just say these two are so good for each other?
My God, I love them.
I know.
Imagine if they got married.
Clayton's just like talking about old memories on the, and she's like, well, are you sure you really want to sell? Like, because you have all these memories. This is so special. And he's like, no, I do. Because like, I need to put this part of my past in the past and move on. Because now my people are in Dallas.
And who are your people, Clayton? Who are your people?
Right. He doesn't say names, but you know.
People I care about are in Dallas.
Right. And I love the jacket he's wearing in this scene. It's like a corduroy. It's like brown corduroy, but it's like the fat corduroy. It's very like in the 90s, I had a pair of pants like this, but they were really wide because it was the 90s. And right. It reminded me of those. I love them.
And it's funny. I watched this episode and then I was in the car and the song from The Grinch came on. Mr. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Mm-hmm. Is it Boris Karloff who's singing? Who's singing that song? I
believe it's Boris Karloff. I think you're right.
Because I close my eyes and I could almost hear Howard Keel singing it because it sounds like he sounds a lot like Howard Keel.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Yeah, that deep baritone. Yeah.
So it was literally like right after I finished watching the episode, and then I came on. I'm going, he sounds like Howard Keel, whoever that is.
Huh. Too bad it wasn't.
That's right, because we do have Keenan Wynn as the Winter Warlock, and it is his season.
Yeah. So Lucy is drinking tea and reading magazines by the pool when Mickey comes up, all hung over as fuck.
And he enters through the soundstage in the back behind the plants. Yeah. Enters stage left. Yeah, he's got a shiner. Ooh.
Huge. Yeah.
Kind of thanks Lucy for breaking up the fight. She's like, well, I was scared. And he goes, well, me too. And I think that kind of like triggers something from him. He's like, well, speaking of scared, he tries to ask her out. And she's like, I'm not ready. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to wait for you. And I was like,
this is like, you guys, I love Mickey now. I do. He's a
good guy.
He is.
That fist to the eyeball really knocks some sense into him.
He's like all of a sudden, like as soon as he met, I feel like he met Lucy and he saw just how vulnerable she was. Mm-hmm. And I think he noticed, like he knows that she needs vulnerability back. And he's supposed to be a lot like Ray or whatever, but he's not like Ray, because he's not afraid to be vulnerable around her and say, like, you know, I've been scared too, and blah, blah, blah. And she needs that.
And he said, I'm going to say something that I've probably never said to anybody, but I'll wait.
Yeah, that he was going to wait for her.
Maturity and growth. Check mark, Mickey.
Totally.
Okay.
All my heart's for eyes for that. And Lucy just gives a little like smile is at the very end.
See, and that's the thing. A lot of people nowadays, they will not wait for somebody. They're like, nope, you're not there. Like, you know what? You're waiting to keep your options open. That's all it is. I'm going to move on. It's like, you know what? Some people wait because of trauma.
Right.
Men and
Excuse
women.
me.
So
Excuse me. We've been out 3 times and we have not done the horizontal mambo. I'm out of here. I'm going on to the next
Well, I guess that just shows the kind of person they are, you know?
I actually dumped a guy because he brought that up on the 3rd date once. He's like, you know, usually me and the girl are having sex by now and you haven't even kissed me. And I was like, and this is our last date.
Right. Yeah.
I was like,
you're
sorry,
like,
but
I don't need to be compared to some other ladies.
No. And it's
Yeah.
like,
You're like,
I kind of think he, it's
bye-bye.
one of those guys that would not let me pay for anything. And that drove me insane. Like he took the bill and then obviously expected something. And I'm like, you know what? There's no
he wanted,
spark.
yeah.
I'm
Right.
not attracted to you. I gave you a chance because I thought maybe something would develop over time. It hasn't. Sorry. And then that just like killed it for me. This was a while ago.
Yeah.
But I never forgot that. I was like, oh, okay. So this is how dating works nowadays. And it hasn't changed much.
Ugh. I hope I never have to date. I'll be so bad at it.
No, like I got back out there. I tried to get back out there on the dating apps and I like signed back into 2 of them and changed my pictures, got like 500 likes right away and went, nope. I'm good. Like this is too much. I have to pay to unlock things and to talk to people and to filter. No, this is more trouble than it's worth.
So he paid for everything, expecting a little horizontal dance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So that's basically a roundabout way of prostitution.
I mean,
yeah. And I was like, I cannot be bought.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye. Let's go for a ride on the range with Bobby and Ray while we're.
Yeah, they're out riding horses.
# brothers. Because Ray's like, hey, man, we need to talk. And Bobby's like, rawr, rawr. And Ray's like, look, man, Donna even sees it. Like, you know, you and Pam, really upsetting, blah, 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 blah. He, like, tries to be the brother. And Bobby's just like, fine. Like, Bobby's in a mood this episode.
He is in a mood in this episode, and he's basically like, why can't Pam just be by my side? And he's like, because you're acting different.
Because you're being an ass right now.
There's no new Bobby. There's no old Bobby. And it's just Bobby.
Right. He's like, I've always been this way. Maybe she just saw me like a different way or whatever. And he's like, okay, but... Yeah, it's
Bobby,
like, okay, maybe, but maybe you haven't shown her the side of you. And I mean, that's fair, but
like you're kind of a train wreck right now, dude.
She hasn't seen the side of you and she's not liking it very much. So, you know,
it's like Bobby comes out, you know, like, oh, I gotta be like JR now. And he's just total fucking train wreck because JR has mastered the art of being an ass and Bobby isn't. So when he tries to be an ass intentionally,
he has a conscience.
He has a conscience, but he also comes. He just
comes off as more of an ass because JR is just enjoying himself the whole time. JR is just like, I'm gonna fuck people over because it's fun.
And Bobby's like, you can tell like he's carrying around the resentment for even like having to stoop that low.
Yeah,
because Bobby is a whole mood this episode. He's not just in a mood; he is a mood.
He literally. He's getting the bell. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
But also, like, and maybe this is, you know, maybe I think like he and Pam, I'll talk about this more later in the episode when we get there, but like he and Pam are just kind of like, as people do, growing in different ways. And doesn't want to be Mr. Goody Two Shoes anymore. He's finding himself enjoying kind of being a dick, like playing more dirty. He's like, oh, I'm actually good at this. I don't mind this. And Pam's like, okay, that's not what I signed up for. I don't want that. So
Like, literally, you were the good brother. That's why I
Right.
married you, because
Right.
you were kind and had empathy
Yeah.
and, like, who
They're
are
just
you?
growing apart.
Yes.
And she said that to Bobby, like, you know, what
Yeah.
happened to the man I fell in love with? You know,
Right.
when he comes back, maybe I will.
And he doesn't want to hear that.
No, and
No.
he's like, oh, you just don't understand, Pamela.
It's
Just
a
don't
big-
understand.
You just don't understand.
I don't understand.
No, I don't understand.
So then we cut to Ewing Oil at night. JR is in his office doing some fancy computer work.
on
When-
his
He's
on his-
coding. He's writing code.
on his 200 megabyte high storage computer.
So I think, I could be wrong, but I think he has a Commodore 64.
I was just going to say that.
Because I was looking at, because we had a Commodore 64, so I know it has the big fat keyboard because the hard drive is in the keyboard of a Commodore 64.
What?
Yeah. And
It's like putting the gas tank in the trunk.
and then you just literally plug the keyboard into a monitor and boom, there you go. And then you'd have like your floppy drive, which took like the big old floppy, the big ones.
It's actually
and-
kind of a cool idea, though.
Yeah, no, Commodore 64 is
It
worth the
was,
shit.
it was like 1.44 megabytes of space on a floppy disk or something like that.
Something, yeah. But they came out in 1983, and my guess is they probably outfitted the offices with the latest technology, right? So
I had a Compaq, and then there was a Leading Edge was another one.
Side note, but I hacked my Nintendo Wii several years ago with homebrew software, and it was actually tonight. That was what was distracting me. I downloaded decent ROM files and a good emulator for once, and I was able to play something other than Super Mario 64. I got GoldenEye 007.
yeah, GoldenEye is the shit. I love GoldenEye.
Wave Runner. Oh yeah, the file isn't like 100% quality. I want to say it's like 90 because the sound gets scratchy. But still, I'm playing N64 games on my Wii,
Awesome.
my old Wii.
We've been collecting old video games and video game systems since Seth and I were in college.
Wow.
So
I have some old Nintendo ones. You want them?
if they work, for sure. Yeah.
I don't know what their quality is, but do you have a system to plug them into?
Yeah, we do.
I love all that shit.
My kids are obsessed with it. They're totally into retro video games and they love old Nintendo shit. And
Have you gotten the?
Oh God.
oh yeah, super retro.
Have you seen? Because I have it here. It's the
My
Atari
original-
joystick that has all the games in it, and you just plug
Oh
it
yeah,
in the
yeah,
TV.
yeah.
And the
My original
television.
N64 still works. My mom found it. We played it. Me and my brother played it last Christmas.
Yeah, we have one of those at my cabin, and we play GoldenEye a lot because that's the one shoot 'em up game I like is GoldenEye.
And there was E.T. the game, or
Oh yeah, we don't have that one because that one is worth a lot of money, so we don't have that one.
Jungle
I
Hunt.
actually downloaded some ROMs of games that I never owned, like Mario Party and Super Smash Brothers.
Mario Party is my shit. Like that's my game. I love Mario Party. Like we have all of them. That's what my family does. Is we play Mario Party.
That's amazing.
Lock and Chase. It was like the little was it Atari or
I don't know that one.
It was like a criminal game. It was very pixelated. The little guy
yeah.
running.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was
Have
like
you guys ever
playing.
seen? Have you guys ever seen the Raspberry Pi? It's like this little itty bitty computer, and they load.
Yeah,
they
that's
load-
Ryer, my oldest, is obsessed with Raspberry Pis and like making their own Raspberry Pi, like in middle school.
Oh my God, that's amazing! And see, I'm like old, so I'm just now discovering this stuff. But
I mean, Ryer's a computer science major now, so I mean, it makes sense.
I love the like in television, the sports games when you have like the little football player where he was running down the field and it was just this pixelated block person going boop 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 boop.
I like the little handheld one that was a football game that was just like the red dots, and you'd have to run. You know what I'm talking about? It's a little white handheld video game.
I have that here, and I have pinball, and I still have baseball. Oh, I love those games.
Okay, so anyway, JR's playing on his Commodore 64, and Holly walks in, and he's mad that she interrupted his game.
But the way she looks, I'd let her interrupt me anytime.
I mean, she does look pretty fly.
She was a Bond girl, so
Yeah, no, Holly's hot. She's super hot.
she's got that moonraker thing going for her.
And you know what? Holly is well within her rights with her demands that she makes.
Yes.
100%. Holly is right on all of the things. She's not wrong at all.
She's not 100% right. She's
like, I want to
1,000%
read
right.
everything I sign.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I want this, I want that. And JR's like, oh, I don't understand. You don't have to look at everything. And she's like, obviously I do.
Right. He wanted her just to be an idiot that he could take advantage of. And she's getting in the way of that by being like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
She's a woman with a brain.
And that annoys him. He doesn't want to have to deal with that. So she's like, hey, I'm wondering why they're selling 50,000 barrels for $20 a barrel when it's actually supposed to be 35 a barrel is the going rate right now.
14 below market value.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I looked it up. The current price of a barrel of oil is about $70 today, 2023.
So today he would be dumping it for $50 below market value.
Yeah, but it would probably, I mean, with the inflation, he'd probably be trying to sell for more. Yeah.
Just
and either way, she's pissed and she has a right to be because he's basically just like giving away her oil that he stole.
And then he gives her some cock and bull about taxes and this and that.
Right. And she's like, she's like, none of this sounds right. But he doesn't care. And he basically just kind of low key threatens her.
Well, JR, you can get out of this partnership anytime you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not happening.
He's like, yeah, when I'm done, when I'm through.
When I've sucked all the blood out of your company, I will throw its shell aside and then move on. Because I'm an oil company vampire. I just succubus.
So she storms out. JR gets on the phone to Walt, looking for answers from the contact. And then he's just like,
you got 24 hours to set up one big drop at $40 a barrel.
Yeah, to see how many they will take in one ginormous drop at $40 a barrel. One big killing.
Yeah, wow. Ooh, boy.
We'll see.
That could make him a pretty penny in this contest if he plays it right.
Right.
But you're selling to Cuba, so good luck with that, pal.
And then it's nighttime, South Fork.
Ellie and Clayton are having a drink.
JR and Sue Ellen are obviously just doing some improv banter as they walk in. Like, you can just tell it's just some shit they made up.
Kind of like in the original miniseries season when they would sit in the background. They would talk about sewing buttons on a shirt and stuff like this.
Right. Now it's like he's annoyed because she wants him to help her put on her bracelet. And he was like, you should have asked me that upstairs. Like, I'm doing other things now. It just sounds like such a petty thing a married couple would actually argue about, which makes it so great.
And I'm sure it was all made up.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I am positive. I would lay money down that is just something that they came up with right before filming.
But she's dressed to the 9.5s here.
Shit. She looks great. Even the outfit's a little weird, but yeah, she looks good.
And he's dressed up too. And they're all both, they look like they're going out for a night on the town, but they're really coming down for dinner.
Fancy dinner. But Ellie and Clayton are going out.
Yeah. And as they're having a drink to celebrate his moving to Dallas, which kind of takes JR off guard, and Bobby walks in at the same time. And it's like, whoa.
I wrote down that JR needs to stop being a bitch.
He does need to stop being a little bitch about it.
He needs to stop being a bitch, period. Because, like, Sue Ellen's like, hey, when they were walking in, she's like, hey, I need help with my bracelet. And he's like, I don't have time to mess with that right now. And she was like, well, don't snap at me. And then they get in there and, it's like, oh, Clayton's moving to Dallas. He's like, oh, are you now? Okay.
Ugh. There goes my appetite.
Basically.
Because he can see, like, he's not loving seeing his mom getting closer to Clayton because he already doesn't like Clayton. He would hate anybody who was, like, hitting on his mom, but he already didn't like Clayton, so.
This is the man that gave Sue Ellen a place to stay, and he stood up, he stared down JR.
Right, and also Dusty's dad, Dusty, who Sue Ellen was ready to, like, leave him for, even though, like, he didn't have a working dick, though.
I'm sorry, that was funnier than it should have been.
There was no rope
You
in the
made
nope
me
rope.
snort. That's really good.
There was no rope in the nope rope, was there?
There wasn't. And that was intimidating that really bothered JR because he's just like, oh shit. Like,
There was no danger in that noodle.
no danger at all.
So then JR goes, nobody's here. Mama's out for dinner and Lucy's not here and Pam dumped your ass and just
He's so sensitive.
He just likes to poke.
And then Sue Ellen said, Bobby, I've been trying to call Pam, and what is she doing with her time? Because I can't get a hold of her. And he goes, sure beats the hell out of me.
Yeah, he's just like, I don't want to talk about any of this. Can we just not talk about Pam?
Sue Ellen's kind of like, what the fuck? Like, poor Sue Ellen. She's just trying to
she's trying to
be
help.
Normal. She's trying to help.
Just like,
JR's being an ass about the bracelet. Bobby's being a dick. She's just like, I would really not blame her if she was just like, fuck all y'all. I'm going out for a drink. Well, I mean, Sue Ellen doesn't need a drink.
She doesn't drink
I'm going out for dinner. Like, fuck you
guys.
She's
going out for sushi. She's taking her own ass out for sushi is what she's doing. And she's leaving all these motherfuckers behind because
Sue Ellen
they
just
don't
needs
deserve
to be
to come
like,
with.
Fuck you guys. Like, like Cartman used to say, screw you guys. I'm going home. She's like, screw you guys. I'm going for sushi. Goodbye.
So Katherine arrives at Pam's.
Yes.
And to say she's moving to Dallas.
Yep. She's having all of her stuff sent from New York.
And then she asks about Cliff.
Yeah.
By the way, this color looks amazing on Morgan B.
Oh, the blue? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really makes her eyes really stand out.
They pop.
Mm-hmm. They pop. Yes.
And I mean, I can't. I think that Katherine, I'm guessing she's just playing a really good game because she really does seem concerned about Cliff.
And maybe in the back of her mind, she's probing for information because she's questioning whether he's fit to run his mother's companies.
Maybe.
That could be in the back of her mind.
Maybe, yeah.
Honestly, we didn't really start to see the crazy eyes up until after her mother died, really.
No.
I mean, we did, but that's kind of like what shifted her. I think I think her mother dying broke her brain.
Yeah, for sure.
That happens with a lot of people.
Brain poo-poos.
A lot of people with a traumatic event like that, their brain goes bye-bye.
And she can't deal. So she's just spinning out of control right now.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because you saw how she snapped at Cliff after Pam left the condo.
Right.
And she did say she would destroy him at that point.
She did.
So she walked it back, though.
She did. Which, her mom died. So she does have an excuse to just react crazy about something. Because people react to grief differently.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
You never know how even you're going to react. So, I mean, she walked it back. So
emotions run high with all that stuff. Death, divorce.
Yeah. Grief is a funny thing.
And she could be setting him up for something. She could be playing it, very close to the vest. Like, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So it's easier to stick the knife in their back and twist it.
Yeah. Katherine wonders if Pam helping Cliff will interfere with her relationship with Bobby.
It's like, why do you care? And she's like, well, I'm kind of rooting for you guys to reconcile,
I really want you guys to get back together. And then on cue, ring, ring, ring. Pornstache is calling.
Pornstache.
And he's like, hey, no strings, Pam. I'd like to, maybe you can buy me lunch. And she's like, okay, I do need some advice.
Yeah, she gets all excited. She gets excited when Mark calls. She's like, oh, yeah, let's go out to lunch to Summerhill.
At 1 p.m. tomorrow. And who
cut to close up of Katherine just looking.
The wheels are turning.
Crazy eyes.
And then we cut to the Cattlemen's Club, where Holly is getting advice from this older dude about her company.
An advisor or something, yes.
Yeah, and he's basically just telling her to listen to her gut and trust it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and honestly, I think this is where she should have been seeking legal advice. Like every time JR wanted her to sign a contract, she needed to be like, I need to have my legal counsel look at this.
Yeah,
first.
for sure. Yeah.
Oh, that would have driven him crazy.
He would have gotten so pissed.
But that's what any good business person does.
Right.
Like there's
like
there's a rule with my
new.
company. Yeah, she's new. She's new. She's naive. She doesn't know this stuff. It's stuff her father didn't teach her. Shame on him. But it's like with my company, my sales reps, like only certain people are allowed to sign contracts. Like they all have to be forwarded to me. I have to look at them and be like, okay, yeah. And I don't know much about contracts, but I know certain things that we're not going to agree to. And then it has to go and get reviewed further. I mean, the whole contract process, it can take weeks. So for him to just like pull out this like generic contract and be like, here, Holly, sign this. I mean, he can put whatever the hell he wants in there.
It was basically a blank sheet of paper.
Yeah.
Sign this.
Yeah. Like a blank check, kind of.
Yeah.
And
Holly,
sign away your soul.
Holly, you own 75% of your company. Last time I checked, 75% was more than 25%. Tell him to go screw himself.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
This is the power differential, though. JR's like, yeah, my 25%, I can do a hell of a lot of damage.
Right. And she's not, she's 25 years old. She's brand new. It seems like even though she's doing, I think, pretty good, I don't even think she went to any sort of school for this or anything. I think she's just taking over.
Learning on the job.
She's learning on the job. She was doing the right thing, actually, going and trying to get advice from people who had been friends of her father.
So you know what's crazy is that Lois Chiles was in right now in 1983 was a year younger than I am right now. She was 36.
Oh, was she? Because she doesn't look 25.
No, I was going to say mid 30s.
Is it Chiles?
No, but I think she's supposed to be. They say she's 25 at some point.
Right.
She's introduced.
Have I been calling her wrong all these years? Is it Chiles or Childs?
I thought it was Childs, but I don't know. I
I've
pronounced everybody's name wrong.
Childs, Chiles, what I've heard both. Tomato.
I thought it was Steve Canale for years, and now it's Canale.
Canale. Yeah, I know. Appalachian.
Tomato, oyster,
oyster. Did you know that she was in the first Austin Powers movie, but they cut her scene?
No. Oh man, I would have been so excited because I would have recognized her, even though I didn't even know she was in she was in James Bond movie.
I know.
I've seen all the Austin Powers though.
That was the first James Bond movie I had ever seen was Moonraker, and I'm going. So then I always would say, "Oh, so James Bond is an outer space thing because it took place in like Moonraker is in space." It was around the time of like 1970, around the time like the Cat from Outer Space and the Black Hole came out and all those weird like space movies.
So anyway, she sees Bobby walk in and up to the bar. So she approaches him, but with caution, because remember the last time that she ran into him, he was a total dick to her. Right.
He's been drinking dick water lately, and
dick water. I've heard that's a little salty.
Ew. Ugh. Ugh. Ugh.
Melanie's just ignoring us.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Well, I'm just going to have some more moonshine here. So
okay. So she's just like, hey, are we cool? And he's just like, yeah. He's like, sorry for before. And she's like, that's okay. Like, I heard about you and Pam. My condolences. And
condolences. It's like somebody died.
I know. And then she's basically changes the subject. She knows that he doesn't want to talk about Pam, and she tells her that she thinks that JR is being conniving. And Bobby's like,
"You think
JR conniving? No way.
No.
Yeah, not my brother." And he tells her to be careful, and because right now JR's back is against a wall. And he can't be trusted because he's just going to be like an angry, injured badger if he's backed into a corner,
Right. And he does want her to keep him updated.
So Ewing Oil the next day, Katherine calls Bobby and asks him out to lunch.
And Bobby's like, oh, yeah, okay. I can spare an hour.
I can do that.
I do that for you, Katherine, my new BFF.
Weird.
And then we cut to South Fork where Ellie... Okay, I was literally like, what? Ellie is looking at realtors' books? And I guess this just shows my age because I have never even heard of a realtor book. Because I have always looked for houses on the internet. So,
oh, yeah. I mean,
back,
they have them.
And back when they had them
maybe.
in these things called newspapers and print, you would go to the real estate section and look up listings in the
Yeah, that's
newspaper.
crazy. Because even when we were looking for our first house, which was back in like 2000, 2001, I was looking on the internet and then just driving around the areas.
Qu'est-ce que c'est internet?
But then Donna comes in and she's asked what Ellie's doing. So Ellie tells her that, she's trying to make a list of places for Clayton to look at because he's thinking of renting or buying a house. And Donna hasn't heard this news yet.
Donna's reactions in this whole scene are just quite priceless.
They are. They're really good. She's sorry, what? What's happening?
What's happening? Oh, what time is it? Oh, it's 9 something. Oh my God, he's going to be here soon. I got to go get ready. And Donna's like, is this the same woman that Frank Crutcher?
Because she's acting like she's in the 8th grade and she's going to a dance. Like she's adorable.
Oh, are they going to go steady?
I don't, maybe.
Are they going to hold hands? Are they going to meet at the punch bowl on the gymnasium floor?
They might slow dance to a Richard Marx song. Who knows? Anything could happen. And I say Richard Marx because every time I hear Richard Marx, it reminds me of being in middle school and sitting
right here waiting
on
for
the
you.
Sidelines. Yeah, waiting for you. And then whatever the other one, something about the night. It's like those were slow songs, and it would be like the boy I liked would be dancing with somebody else, and it just like me watching from the sidelines, and like that's every single time I hear goddamn Richard Marx.
Oh, I like the song. It Don't Mean Nothing. It was about
Yeah.
So it was like about Hollywood, and
Hold on to the night.
Hold on to the night. Yes.
That's it.
And scene. No.
Anyway.
And Ray Ralston shows up here at JR's office with
Roy Ralston.
Roy Ralston, yeah, he shows up with a thing full of mail.
Like so much mail.
1,400 and what?
31
letters that he needs like a little hand cart to bring it in.
He dumps on. Hasn't the guy ever been to a gym? Can he lift a sack?
Like it's probably pretty heavy though. I don't know. He'd be like Santa over his shoulder.
Is the sack itself pretty heavy? Like a burlap one?
It was a burlap one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to make sure he's got to be able to lift his own sack. I mean, come on.
Ding 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 ding.
Where's Sarah when you need her for a laugh?
But he puts those all over the floor, and I'm just like, who's gonna pick those up? Does Sly have to pick all that shit up now?
JR grabs a handful of them in his hands, but that's all he can handle.
Right. Yeah. And I guess these are all letters from people who want JR to run for political office, and they said that they would vote for him.
Wow. But Roy Ralston loves this idea, but he could give JR exposure in exchange for exclusivity. Any big news, any scoops comes through him.
He's basically like strangers on a train, crisscross.
Make you jump.
Mutually beneficial.
Right. You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. JR has to really think about that, but it certainly is flattering.
He's super flattered by it. He's like, oh, goddamn. Like, that wasn't even, like, on his bingo card. And he's like, oh, wow.
Because didn't Cliff start this whole thing with his little having the people approach JR to be the candidate, and then they got thrown out there, and it's just then it kind of died off for a little while. We wondered, okay, what was the point behind that? And now it's coming back again.
Uh-huh.
But JR did the same thing to Cliff Barnes with Alan Beam and yanked the rule right up front.
Right. That's why I'm surprised JR is not more suspicious of this because of what he pulled with Alan Beam.
Yes. The beam skin rug.
Yes. We could never forget.
Yes.
Hashtag never forget the beam skin rug.
And speaking of hashtags, I think since it will be our 5th anniversary next year, we should hashtag everything Ewing BBQ 5.
We should, yeah. I can't believe it. 5 years. That's crazy. Wow.
And we're chugging away.
Chugging away. So Pornstache and Pam are eating a quaint lunch. Pornstache. She tells him about Cliff's business plans, and Mark wants to help, but by potentially selling him a company that he currently owns.
Doesn't it deal in like parts?
That's very nice.
Equipment and stuff like that.
It's something like later I think they even say it's a refinery, but I don't even something like that. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Something.
And he wants Pam to go look at it. Like
Right.
she knows anything about.
I thought it wasn't even for sale, or he probably wasn't even thinking about selling it before this moment. And he's just like, well, this is an opportunity for me to be alone with Pam for a couple hours. So whatever. I will just sell this company. I don't care.
Right.
Because that's how he operates.
He's
Pornstache.
Meanwhile, Bobby comes in to meet Katherine. And the maitre d' from F Troop is like, oh, she called to say she's going to be a little late. Sounds like a JR setup to me.
And then as he says that, Bobby looks, I'm like, they're directly behind the maitre d', sees them and is just like, God damn it.
Laser beam eyes. It's like,
Yep. Turns around and leaves so fast there is a Bobby-shaped hole in the door.
and there's wind coming in from the. Okay, well.
So Dave Culler's freaking out because he's come to tell Ray and Donna all the tea he's hearing about JR and how people are like, he might run against you.
I mean, he has legit concerns. And I heard straight up creepy comparisons to certain people that came out of nowhere and won the presidency. Not even Jimmy Carter, who they mentioned by the name, the peanut farmer. I'm thinking the current president, Ronald Reagan, and then the one we had several years later.
Yeah, I'm
all
going
the shit
there.
they were saying about Donna was saying about his power trip. Like he's like, if he loses his father's company, he's got to he's got to have something to.
It's a great way for him to keep power if he loses, because Ray's like, don't worry about it. Like he's never going to give up Ewing Oil, and it's like, well, but if he loses Ewing Oil, this would be his backup plan.
You may
But
not
now
have
that
now
it's almost like they have to help JR win Ewing Oil to keep him from running for office.
Right. Because Dave just can't even. He's just aghast about the whole thing. And then they talk this whole thing about Jimmy Carter, about how he came out of nowhere and he was just a peanut farmer. And I was like, that is such an early 80s hot take on Jimmy Carter.
I loved the way the scene ended where Ray says, well, all he knew about was peanut farming. Just the way it came out of his mouth.
I know. And that's like Jimmy Carter. Like, I know that he had that reputation in the 70s, but that man is goddamn amazing. He was building houses when he was like in his 90s.
And he turned 99 on October 1st. And condolences to the Carter family. Rosalind has passed recently.
Yeah.
After a 77-year marriage?
Yeah, something insane like that. Like, Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter stan for me.
Although he was a one-term president, he has done more out of office than he did in office.
Yes.
And,
He's just an amazing person, I think. Like, he's one of the only people I can think of that you could probably say was a good person who has been president. And I say that with presidents I actually like. Correct. But they're probably not that great of a person in real life. But Jimmy Carter?
He got on there was video. He got on a plane once and he walked up and down the aisles and shook hands with every single person on the airplane and introduced himself before he sat down.
Good guy.
So let's get into this whole Bobby calls Pam.
Setting is Ewing Oil, early evening.
Louise answers the phone and tells Bobby that Pam has not come back yet.
And he's just like, ugh. She was expecting her home after lunch, but she called and she hasn't even come back yet. Bobby's just like, ah. And then the foreman from Ewing 22 calls, and it's urgent.
It's urgent.
And then we cut to Pam and Pornstache on Pornstache's private plane. Pornstache. Drinking champagne.
And the gist of this scene is he basically says, let's cut right to the chase, and says that you're basically a single woman who hasn't made it legal yet.
He is so manipulative in this scene.
It's disgusting.
Because he starts bringing up, like, hey, you and me. And she's like, remember, we weren't going to go there. He's like, if those are your rules, I'll follow him. And then she's like, look, the last thing I need is, like, another man to think about. I have a lot of shit.
I know, because I'm like, Pornstache, slow your roll.
Right.
Like, she's still married.
Well, but he says, oh, it sounds to me like you haven't really left Bobby after all. And she's like, well, I haven't. Like, I needed time, but I'm not ready to leave my marriage. I'm just thinking shit over.
You can't fix a marriage if you're far apart.
Right. He tells her she can't save her marriage, and it's basically already too late. Bobby is on a path, like, he's always going to be a piece of shit now. Ewing oil person and craving power. And it's too much of you to ask Bobby to not do that. Like, what the fuck, Mark? It's like on the edge of being a little gaslighting, too. It's just, it's not good. It's not good. Trash bell for Pornstache. Pornstache.
So I made a note here. I said Larry Hagman as a director, he really likes to focus on the actor, like, in the shot, and then actor in the shot. And, like, I noticed there's a lot of back and forth. Like, yeah. And, you know, the other person will be done talking and you'll hear the other one start to talk, but the camera won't be on them yet. And then it'll switch to them.
A lot of, like, you can have a full performance and everybody gets their own close-up kind of too. It's actor's dream, I'm sure.
Right. And being an actor.
Kind of interesting having the actor as the director.
Actor turned director, they bring that sensibility of what they're doing in front of the camera to what's going on behind the camera, so that.
I mean, I think cross-training in any industry is amazing, because really, who better than to give points on directing and shots and how they look than the actors themselves? I mean, you can have a vision, but these are the people that are making that vision come to life. So they need to have input.
Uh-huh.
And then JR comes in to ask about Pam again.
JR wants to talk. Bobby does not want to talk. And JR's just like, wow, you're getting testy in your old age. JR, Jesus, leave him alone.
Larry is having fun in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I wrote, such an asshole enjoying Bobby's pain.
Yeah, and then he goes into his office, and Katherine shows up to apologize for
missing lunch, for missing him at lunch. Which, did she just not show at all then?
They decide to go to the Cabin's Club for some drinks.
Yeah, and he's like, he's like, you want to go out for a drink? And she's like, sure.
I got my car here. I'll drive my car, meet you there.
Yeah. And JR's like lurking, like.
I know, he's just like observing over his bourbon and branch with interest, like,
right.
Interesting.
What's going on over here?
It's like if this was at South Fork, he would be on the balcony overlooking.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
JR's always lurking.
Always lurking.
He's always lurking. There's always a bug.
Watching, yeah.
Like when Lucy and Mitch had a fight and JR was
sitting there like swirling his bourbon and branch.
He was coming from getting warm milk and he was hiding in the dining room.
Warm milk. Yeah.
Warm milk.
Toddy,
warm
whatever.
milk with a little bourbon in it.
Uh-huh.
I was kind of surprised he got his warm milk himself and he didn't ask Teresa to do it. He didn't get I'm shocked. J.R. Ewing got something out of the kitchen by himself.
In his house coat.
In his house coat. In his house coat. And didn't wake up one of the servants in the middle of the night to do it. Shocked.
Yeah. So then we cut to Pam and Pornstache arriving back at Pam's hotel room.
Ooh.
And Louise says, oh, you had 2 messages from your husband and Sue Ellen Ewing.
Uh-huh.
And Pam's
And she's just like,
thanks.
okay, thanks.
Yeah. I'm gonna ghost them. Sorry.
Yeah. Pam's like, I just want to thank you for such a great day.
Yeah.
And at this point, honestly, I don't think Pam is like avoiding Sue Ellen because she thinks, I don't know why, but Sue Ellen isn't calling her to try to get her to come back because of the fight for Ewing Oil. She's like, hey, you're my friend. Like, you are my only friend. Where did you go? What the hell?
Where did you go? I'm
think-
fighting with my husband over bracelets, and your husband is being a dick. And
I think Pam doesn't want to have to answer any questions about Mark.
True.
Is what I think. I think she knows someone's going to ask her,
But she's been trying to get a hold of her for days anyway,
Right.
and she can't.
Right.
Even before the Mark thing. So
I mean, the Mark thing's kind of been going for a while, but
a little bit, but yeah. Honestly, I really felt like that was Sue Ellen just being like, "Hey, like you're my only friend. You're gone.
Yeah.
Hey,
I need to talk to you.
you're my life raft. I need help.
You left me here alone with these
You abandoned
fuckers.
me. Yeah.
You abandoned me. We need to talk because this shit is crazy.
Yeah.
Even Miss Ellie is running around with the guy that was in love with me.
Right.
I can't trust anybody.
Basically, and Pam's like, I can't.
Yeah. But,
I just love,
Pornstache is like, if there's anything you need, you know where to reach me.
I'll be oiling.
And they both have like flirty eyes. They're like,
I'll be oiling my porn stash so it's nice and shiny.
Oh Lord.
he wants her to oil his pornstache.
Yeah, with her tongue.
That too.
I like JR and Sue Ellen in this episode with the whole between the bracelet and I've been trying to get a hold of Pam. Hey, Bobby, Sue Ellen's been trying to get a hold of. Is everything all right? Just their whole.
Yeah. Yeah, because I feel like Larry is getting into the new little nuances of their characters, and that's what makes it good.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so she decides she's going to talk to Cliff herself about the deal, and he goes, and then she calls Ewing Oil, and JR answers and says that Bobby has left, and no, he didn't go home.
Yeah, I know he didn't go home, but I don't know where he is.
While you're at it, would you give Christopher a hug from his Uncle JR?
And she can't even. She just rolls her eyes at him. She's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Give a hug to the little boy that I thought was my bastard from Kristen.
Right. I thought it was my kid for like several months, but whatever.
Right. Oh, God, I'm still drinking this. Oh, God.
Bobby and Katherine drove separately to the Cattleman's Club, and somehow she's taken like way longer to get there because not only is Bobby there, but he's already had a whole drink. At least one.
Well, he might have rushed there because did not have any alcohol in the system was wearing off.
Maybe. It's interesting. So she orders a white wine, and Bobby orders another round.
He said what he saw at the restaurant to her.
And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Oh, Bobby, I picked the restaurant. This is my fault.
It was my fault. Oh God. Like, and then she like makes excuses like, oh, I'm sure it was nothing. I'm sure it was just like Pam trying to help Cliff get out of his depression. And it's brilliant. She's goddamn brilliant. Because I feel like this is where we actually see like how good she is, because she's doing all the things that
let's applaud Catherine's acting.
Oh yeah, she's fucking amazing. She's all the things that Bobby could tell himself to make him not worry about Pam and Pornstache is she's saying out loud. So it's like almost taking that away. So now all he has left is, oh my God, they're sleeping together.
They're doing the horizontal mambo.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're pounding the Posturpedic.
Oh my gosh.
This
is why I think Katherine is the best villain in the entire show, because she's just so good.
And we had her on our show And if you missed that episode, folks,
Oh, yeah.
go into our archives because she was brilliant.
She is. And if you are a Patreon member, we have the whole video on Patreon. And she looks fucking amazing. She looks exactly the same. She's like a vampire. I don't know.
And she just turned 72 on the same
That's
day
insane.
of Walt Disney's birthday.
She looks good.
I hope I look even halfway like that when I'm 72. Holy shit.
And hopefully she joins us again because she was talking about her book that she's writing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I forgot about that.
I can't wait.
Got to try to bring her back on. And also, she does do important work with Gary Sinise and the War Wounded Veterans Foundation.
Yeah, that's right.
That's an awesome thing. Actually, his foundation built I think I told you guys this during her interview. Gary Sinise's foundation built a house for a high school classmate of mine who was injured during training at Camp Pendleton, like badly injured.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
But he and his wife and kids got a new house built for them that accommodated his like chair and stuff.
This whole series of scenes just cracks me up coming up here. Just this whole.
Yes. Because she's like, I should go home. And he's just like, I should too, but I don't want to go home. Bobby, usually when someone says, I don't want to go home, like it's a whole like.
They get a hotel room and then they're screwing 5 minutes later.
Yeah, it's like Bobby is in the mood to make some really bad choices right now. And she's playing the long game because she does not take advantage of it. Because I guess she knows that if they get drunk and sleep together, then like,
oh, fuck.
Game over.
He'll flip out. Yeah, he will not handle that well.
He will sober up. He'll realize what the hell happened. He will realize he'll never get Pam back after that.
And he would be like, I can't, we can't talk anymore.
Yep.
Right. And that would send Katherine even further over the edge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And right. So she plays it really smart. And she's just like, no, I have to go home.
And you should go back to South Fork.
Bobby's like, hey, I want another one. Make it a double.
Right. So he's just going to get fucking drunk.
He's about to get fucking shit-faced.
Hammer time. Boom, 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 boom. Hammer time. Do, 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 do.
Yeah. But she says, I just want you to know that I'm here for you. And then he's like, you're such a good friend, Katherine.
But I'm here for you, but not like that. Not right now.
Yeah. Not like that right now.
Yeah. No sexy time. Mm-mm.
Sexy time in the future when gotcha.
Like you need to be like divorced first and like, and I still can't believe like she's even got it in her mind to go for her brother-in-law.
Well, Kristen was going after JR, so that's another brother-in-law, sister-in-law. So.
Hey, I gotta say,
Kristen wanted Bobby first too.
True.
She looked like Colleen Camp at that point. So
some good friends of mine are talking about separating. Like they're living apart right now, like as of this week. And it's one of those things like I cannot imagine how I would feel if he got drunk and was like coming on to me. It'd be like it'd be like, a brother-in-law figure hitting on you. It's awkward as fuck.
Well, I'll tell you this. My parents had some friends and we would go camping with them and their kids that I grew up with. And the wife had two sisters, and sometimes she would bring both sisters, like it'd be a big like family camp out for them. And then we would be there too. And sometimes other people. The sisters had both been married to the same guy.
What?
He had kids with the one, they got divorced, and then had kids with the younger sister.
Oh my God. And they still spoke?
And they all went camping together. So all those kids were siblings, cousins.
Oh my God.
It was so weird. And this guy was just like this little, like, basically, and this guy, he was just like this little short kind of troll looking guy. I was like 11 and I was like, that guy? Okay.
I got the magic stick. I know if I can hit once, I can hit twice. Yeah, that's what it is. Magic dick. Troll with the magic dick. That's what it was.
I guess. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, isn't that special?
I think about that more than I.
No, that's really weird. Like,
should.
I'm down for people who can like divorce or separate amicably and co-parent.
Yes, and be adults.
Because that's how it should be. I mean, I know so many people who've done that. They've been married or like with other people for years, but they do like birthday parties, Christmas parties, get together, like social hangouts with all of the kids. Like that's how it should.
That's amazing. As opposed to my in-laws who can't be in the same room together, and they've been divorced for 30 plus years.
After all this time.
Bruce Willis and Demi Moore had a very good relationship.
I think that's
they
great.
Still do, yeah.
My friend Dan always goes and like when his ex and her partner are doing like he'll go and like feed her cats and stuff like that.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just doesn't work out, you know. You guys aren't compatible.
Doesn't mean you have to be enemies, right?
Yeah, no. I think it all depends on how you handled yourself in the relationship and also during the breakup.
Right. Which I think is what went wrong with my in-laws.
My mother from Florida actually kidnapped me when I was little.
Okay, now you have to tell this story.
I was with my mother in the car, and she decided not to. I didn't know any of this was going on. She had me at a friend's house.
So there would have been an Amber Alert had there been an Amber Alert system back then. Damn.
Well, she had called my father up and said she's not giving me back. All I remember is being at her friend's house a few towns away, baking cookies all day. Well, meanwhile, she was at the court trying to get custody, and father and my stepmother blocked her car in the parking lot so that she couldn't get out, and whatever happened. But yes,
I mean that's custodial interference, dude.
Yeah, no, that's a big deal.
If she hadn't kidnapped you, she may have had a shot.
She originally had custody, and then she turned us all over to our father.
Was she? It almost sounded like she was pulling some Betty Broderick shit, and that she didn't get that far. Thank God. Yeah. I'm glad she didn't. Yeah, that would have been terrible. By the way, I've been watching a few old TV movies and documentaries and shit, and I watched the second season of Dirty John.
The TV show or the documentary Dirty John? Because there's two.
The TV show. Yeah, I haven't watched the first season.
There's also a podcast.
Yeah, I think that's what that might be what the show was based on. Yeah, I don't remember what the first season was about because, I haven't watched that one. I went right to season 2 because I knew about the Betty Broderick story and what happened. I haven't watched the first season with Connie Britton in it yet. Yeah, and then I went and watched the old TV movies from the early 90s with Meredith Baxter and Stephen Collins in it.
Wait, Stephen Collins? You mean the creepy guy from Seventh Heaven?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he played Dan Broderick.
We're still at the office at night, by the way. Jared's just hanging out in the office.
Yeah, he's just hanging out, drinking.
Yeah, and Walt calls. He's a little late and says that his contact now wants $100,000. Well, JR has to make the deal. He just has to. And
he makes it begrudgingly. He's like, fine. Again, like in the beginning of the episode, he was like, fine, just pay him. And yeah, you're going to take your fee out. Whatever.
50,000 now, 100,000.
Again, JR, you're breaking the law. Don't be so upset about how it's going down.
Let's just cut the brass taxes.
You have no choice here. You have to do this like a certain way.
He's at the other end of the stick that he's usually on, you know?
Yeah.
JR, there's a song out there called I Fought the Law and the Law Won. Eventually, the law will win.
No, I always thought like JR's song would be I shot the sheriff, but he didn't shoot the deputy.
Oh, Eric Clapton. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, like I did do that, but I didn't do that.
Isn't that Bob Marley?
Eric Clapton. I think
Clapton. It is Eric Clapton.
Or did they both do it?
I know both. Bob Marley did. I thought Bob Marley wrote it.
It was a Bob Marley song, and then Eric Clapton
covered it.
Oh,
yeah.
the first time I ever heard it was Eric Clapton. So that
really? I've never heard Eric Clapton's version actually, because that's a reggae song.
Well, I think Eric Clapton's version, he only released it like a year after Bob Marley wrote and recorded it.
Oh,
and then weird.
Okay, huh.
But that was kind of like, JR's whole thing. It's like, you can see him like justifying, I committed a crime, but I didn't do all that.
It could have been worse. God,
it could have been worse. Yeah, like, oh, geez.
I deserve an Oreo now. Give me one,
Give me a cookie.
Mercy is for cookie.
C is for cookie.
I love these next series of scenes right here with Sly and Phyllis coming into the office. This whole sequence.
Mm-hmm.
It gave them a chance to shine in this episode.
It did, but there's a little bit of continuity I think. I should admit that I have been watching ahead. I've been trying not to.
Then let's not throw it in there then at this point yet.
I know, but there's just a little continuity thing something that comes up. Oh, all right. Well, I'll bring it up then.
Oh, okay. So we'll file this series of scenes in our memory banks for when this happens.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it in an episode that's in this season, or is it at the beginning of next season?
Not sure.
Not sure.
So
shall we set the scene?
I think it's next season. Anyway.
Shall we set the scene here?
Yes. So Ewing Oil, next morning.
Yes.
Secretaries are walking in and chatting about Phyllis's shitty date.
Right. Another winner.
Another winner.
Kendall gives them the mail.
Damn. It makes me feel a little better. Even 40 years ago, dating sucked.
I think dating always sucked.
Dating blows.
Yeah, all the way back to when man dragged woman by hair back to cave with club.
Okay, that needs to be a TikTok clip.
Okay.
Dating sucks. Dating's always sucked. Even when man dragged a woman with it. Yeah.
Then Phyllis walks into Bobby's office and finds him like fast asleep on the couch, and she's like, "Oh, whoops."
Okay.
He's not going to want me to have seen him like this, so she just sneaks out again.
She pretends that she didn't see him.
Right. And so she called.
She buzzes his
she,
office
brings him
several times.
It's like, Bobby, he's like, don't come in here.
You got in early, didn't you? How did you know? I saw your car in the garage.
Yeah, she just makes shit up. Oh, she's like, oh yeah, I saw your car?
I walked in and smelled you.
Yeah.
You smelled like a distillery, sir.
You smelled like where Carla works on Cheers.
Yeah. And sleeping on that couch looks so uncomfortable. That like leather.
Ugh.
Oh, it would be awful.
Come on, guys. You're fucking billionaires. Get better office furniture.
Get a room. Or get a room for the night. Like, you don't have to sleep in your office.
Do you know how many people I know that fucking sleep in their office? I don't know why.
I used to sleep in my office, but I didn't have the money to get a hotel room.
Now, Greg Sumner on Knots Landing, he had a little back apartment off the back of the office that he could sleep in. So he wasn't sleeping in his office. He could go and sleep. If he was there late at night, he would go and sleep in this little apartment off the back of the office.
When I was pregnant in the early 2000s, I had to work a lot of late hours and like 2, 3 in the morning and then be back at 8 a.m. And I was trying to hide the fact that I was pregnant because it was very early on.
Oh,
I was
man.
exhausted. And so I made a bed under my desk.
What?
With like a pillow and a blanket and everything. And I would literally like close the door to my office and then take a little nap. And then one day the client walked in and she saw me asleep under the desk and she's like, "You sleeping?"
Yeah, honey, this is my reality. Okay, like it's like client, this is what it takes to do your shit.
Right. So yeah, Bobby,
holy hangover Batman.
Yeah. His head is pounding.
Yeah. He looks like hell.
He's like, I can just feel him. He's all like, cotton mouth. He's like, needs some water. He's like, ugh.
And then he calls Pam and says they need to talk that night at 9 p.m.
Right. And she's just like, she does not seem happy. She's like, okay, I guess you can come to my hotel.
Bobby, maybe if you grow a porn stash, you might be more attractive to me now.
Maybe.
Because that's what I'm into.
Porn stash.
I'm into getting tickled by a little bit of porn stash down there.
And then he walks out and tells Phyllis, like, I'm just going to be gone the rest of the day. Bye.
And then Sly gets a call from Walt Driscoll for JR, and Phyllis is eavesdropping.
Oh, totally. She's like, oh, Walt Driscoll. Okay.
Like, okay, Bobby, you want to go fuck off for a little while? Go get yourself cleaned up. I'm going to do your dirty work.
I would like to applaud the D's, Danon, Deb, for their wonderful sequence here.
Lovely. Yes.
Cheers.
So Bobby drives home to South Fork, and Sue Ellen is reading on the couch. It looks like she had a freshly trimmed mullet in this scene.
got to keep that mullety.
It's very melody.
Mullety. Not Melanie, but melody, but mullety.
Melody. Yeah.
Malady? What? Oh.
Melanie, Malady, Mallory, Mallory. Thank you, Alex P. Keaton.
She asks if he's okay and says she's really sorry about Pam. And he's just like, yeah, I'm sorry too. I'm like, Bobby, okay.
She says she does want JR to win, but not what's happening this way.
Not this way. Bobby's like, I'm sorry, what do you mean? And she's like, well, JR's kind of happy this happened with you and Pam because it's going to throw you off your game. You're going to be like distracted. So it works for him.
Well, guess what? You tell him.
It's like,
if I am losing my wife and child over this, then all I've got is Ewing oil, and I'm going to take it at all costs. Bada bing,
grabs
bada
his
boom.
coat and angrily walks away. Like,
Boom, 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 boom.
just go sleep it off, Bobby. Jesus Christ.
You're a mean one, Mr. Ewing.
Cranky son of a bitch. Then Pam tells Cliff all about Mark's company, and but Cliff is like too depressed to even hear it.
Yeah, this is his breaking point.
Yeah. We get a full-on whole black hole of Cliff despair here, where he's just, you see, like, he's disappointed in himself. He's just, and for all the shit that happened with his mama, he has a lot of self-hatred and guilt, and it's just like eating him alive.
He doesn't deserve to be alive, he says.
Yeah. And Pam finally hears what he's saying. I feel like she's finally able to like snap out of her own drama. And she's just like, oh, Cliff, like, oh, you're hurting.
What gets is that he said that he was not there when she died, and she's probably disappointed in him.
And she's like, she wouldn't blame you. All she did was love you. And Cliff is just like, and she'd want you to like carry on. And she asked me to help you to carry on. So, and take care of you. And that's what I'm trying to do. And he's like, she loved me? Like, yeah, she did. She loved you.
And he starts crying, and I'm just like, God, men on this show, you need to go to therapy.
I just want to give him a big hug.
Bring back Dr. Elby. Bring back Dr. Elby.
Just,
It is kind of a similar pulling him out of the, not as intense as when Bobby threw JR in front of the mirror after Jock died and shoved that picture of John Ross in his face and said, get off your butt and get back to work. But it's on that level in a way of like, that moment of, let's wake up.
Reaching bottom. So then they can start going back up. JR is going out for a meeting, and Sue Ellen offers to go with, but he's like, nah, but I would like to have drinks with you after.
Oh, isn't that special?
He knows what that's going to do. He's like, I'm going to come home and I'm going to get sauced and,
I'm going to get sauce, sucked, and laid.
Basically.
Yeah, I guess.
And then she tells him what Bobby said earlier.
I mean, they were still in the honeymoon phase, so again.
That's true. Yeah.
She tells him what Bobby said about.
Yeah, she's like, you miscalculated with Bobby because he says that he has nothing left to lose and he is just going to.
Balls to the wall.
Go off, yeah. And JR's like, yeah, that's nothing but the last gasp of a drowning man.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm like, Sue Ellen, stop talking.
Right.
Again.
Well, what are you doing?
Talking. All the time. Every time. Like, every time. She does this every
time. She talks too much.
Too
much talkie.
Shut up!
I don't understand. Now let's talk about Pam's outfit here for a minute here. What the
it is a weird outfit. So we're at Pam's apartment.
It looks like an abstract art painting on a skirt wrapped around black clothes. What the freaking?
Yeah, I mean,
wardrobe.
I'm not gonna lie. It does look a little bit like something I might wear. I'm not saying it's not weird, but it does look like something I might wear.
Hey, embrace the weirdness.
20% alcohol by volume, 40 proof. I'm pounding this pretty good here. Whoa.
Oh,
I'd be melted into the chair.
Bobby shows up and Pam opens the door and he asks about Christopher and she's like, well, he's in bed, but if you want to go wake him up.
Bobby, he's a baby, and it's 9 o'clock at night. Of course, he's in bed.
Of course, he's in bed. Like, what are you?
You self-absorbed jackass.
He's still in a bad mood, and he's just immediately like, I saw you at lunch with Mark.
Pornstache.
And
Like, oh, cool. You did?
she's like,
How about
well,
that?
you know what? He kind of reminds me of you a little bit when you weren't such a dick.
That's right.
And Bobby's like, "Pfft, whatever.
Pam, I'm in the fight for my life right now, okay?
It's like
Yeah,
this
he's
Grayson guy's
basically like,
punching
you
your
should just
pants.
be blindly on my side.
What happened till death was part and all those stuff you said in the vows, huh?
She's like, I don't have the stomach for any of this.
She's like, well, what happened to the man I said those to?
Right.
And he storms out.
Turns around and leaves. It makes like a tree and gets out of there.
Bum, bum, bum. And here comes the final scene of the episode. Walt shows up.
So Ewing Oil, night.
Night.
JR is on his Commodore 64. And
Is he
Driscoll
playing
shows up
Pong? Is he playing Pong?
playing Pong. Driscoll shows up. And Driscoll's like, good news. They are willing to buy however much you are willing to sell.
Well,
He's like, so 100,000? And JR's like, hiya.
with 2 fingers.
Yeah. 300,000? Higher.
More.
And he says, 1 million barrels.
And scene.
And scene.
And let's drink some more of this Eggo waffle.
Yes, and we drink once because it's JR. The freeze frame. Okay, so I'm giving this episode 4 bourbons. Mostly because I like it, but I feel like it's not the best. It's one of those, like, it's driving the plot forward.
It's a filler.
happening, but it's kind of filler. It's just like a lot of exposition, basically. I love the exposure of Catherine's deviousness in this one, but there's no big over-the-top moments. So I'm giving this 4 bourbons and 1,431 letters.
Oh, wasn't that great? I'm giving this a 6.5. No, I'm giving this. I'm going to stick with the 4.25 from last week. Like, it's just an episode that moves things along. But there was great, the whole JR and Sue Ellen banter, and the way they go after Bobby about their concern for Pam, and just needling Bob, and that entire series of scenes that took place at night with Katherine coming to the office, Bobby going to drink, ending up on the couch, and right through Sly's and Phyllis coming into that whole something about that. I just love that whole montage.
It did flow. It was a nice flow.
It had a nice flow.
Yeah.
Yes. And I am going to give it Phyllis's lousy date.
I'm going
No,
to
I'm going to repeal that Phyllis's lousy date and go with a closing on the Southern Cross Ranch, because that's a big moment.
I'm going to give it 4.0, and we're going to get some legal counsel for Harwood Oil
A good
to
idea.
be reviewing contracts.
Yeah.
We're going to find
Good
her
idea.
representation.
Yeah. Next time, we're going to talk about season 6, episode 21, episode 124 of the series, Caribbean Connection.
I would love to film this episode. I would love to record our episode in the Caribbean.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it? Yes.
Okay, if
Outside
one
on
of
the-
us comes into money within the next week, let's do it.
Yeah. Woo!
But we will all be wearing ugly sweaters or festive Christmas garb next week, because it's our.
Yeah, I'll totally wear.
I think it's our last one of the year.
It is. The next week is going to be our last one for the year. We're going to take a little break over the holidays.
Cliffhanger.
And we'll be back in 2024.
Our 5th
Crazy.
Anniversary season.
Our 5th anniversary.
And we want everyone to use the hashtag EwingBBQ5. Well, let's make it a thing.
We're totally going to make it a thing. Anyway, okay, so in the meantime, it's Christmas. If you need any last-minute gifts, you should check out, and you have a Dallas fan to buy for.
Check out
we
our
have
shop.
a lot of cool Dallas merch. that's available. Just go to our website, Ewing BBQ, and there is a link. It's also a link in your show notes. And we have a lot of things. Thank you to the people who have been buying lately. We made like $2 this week, you guys.
And if we get out to LA, we may have some stuff with us.
Yeah, if we do, we will try to have some stuff. So
I haven't been to a convention or anything like this in years. So
you were at a convention with me.
You were in Atlanta.
Oh,
Barbara
my
Eden.
God. I was. I meant like not a horror con, but like, you know, something like Dallas or like some other like old TV shows. I haven't. Okay, let me put it this way. I haven't been to a convention where I felt like it's my scene for years and years. However, my scene has also changed, I guess, as I've gotten older.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's her face was? I mean,
you didn't go in. You didn't go in.
Yes.
You didn't go in really, but we were hanging out at Chiller in April.
True. Oh yeah, like when that guy came up to me in the bar was like, I'm kind of a celebrity.
Oh right.
I don't even remember who it was.
Swim Fan.
And
he was from Swim Fan.
And then
I've never seen, but I remember that's what he was from.
And then Scotty Schwartz was hanging out in the same bar lobby bar
I was
with
like,
us
I'm
all
sorry.
night.
Am I supposed to remember you? Who know who you are? Like I'm not.
And I just watched him last night in the sequel to A Christmas Story. I'm going, he was pulling a wagon with pizza around for everybody that night.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
I do remember. Was it Chiller?
It was.
Okay.
I don't know.
Man, what was wrong with me? that was kind of a bad time.
But this is definitely a good opportunity to get a large group of Dallas people at one time.
It is. Thank you to all of our Patreon members. And if you are on Patreon, I'm going to start editing our deleted things into one. I'm not going to break them up into little segments anymore because I think it's probably easier to listen to if it's one long thing. And last week you got like 40 extra minutes. So,
and maybe as a Christmas bonus, we might throw, I'm still pushing the Audrey Lee reunion, just the audio out to the public for New Year's. Yes.
That's what I was planning to do that for like the holidays.
Okay, good. Because they had not, in case you missed it, they had not communicated with each other since they went to Israel 40 years ago. So this was a big moment for them to, and they went to Israel with an interesting combination of Susan Howard and Steve Canale, which they'd never really had much interaction with on the show.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Y'all come back now with those ugly sweaters next week, you hear?
Okay, my impression of Sue Ellen in that living room with all those assholes around her. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. Fuck you, I'm out. Going for sushi.
Next on Dallas.
You are the most despicable human being.
This deal could win me Ewing Oil, Holly. If I lose it because you won't sign, I'll make sure you lose far more.
Didn't you want me to tell you if JR was shipping any more oil out of the country?
Is he?
1 million barrels worth.
If he's doing what we talked about once before, you better hang up fast, Bobby, and stop JR cold.
If JR is selling to an embargoed country and our government finds out about it and we don't stop him, that's the end of Ewing Oil.